One of the state's biggest health providers, Premera Blue Cross, was hit with a very large fine. We'll break down why this happened and where the money is going. President Donald Trump tweeted earlier this week certain Democratic congresswomen should return to the countries from which they came. The congresswomen and Democrats are now responding.
We have a liftoff on Apollo 11.
50 years ago this week, America landed a man on the moon. Today is the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 launching. It was a groundbreaking mission that paved the way for science and technology. 5 a.m. on our Tuesday morning. Welcome to KREM 2 Morning News. So happy to have you with us on this beautiful day. I'm Jen York.
And I'm Evan Nurani.
How are we shaping up outside?
So far, it looks like we're kind of have a repeat of yesterday. So what yesterday brought us was pretty generally cloudy conditions, overcast skies. Today, a better chance of a couple scattered showers may come our way, though we did see some yesterday. So going into today, kind of just a continuation of cooler conditions and a little bit of a breeze as well. So that breeze is just picking up day by day. Yesterday, we saw a little bit of wind. It kept itself pretty light, but as we head toward the afternoon today, we're looking at another shot of those wind speeds and wind gusts picking up. And then going into especially your Wednesday and Thursday, we see those skies clear out. So when we see that humidity drop compared to where we are right now with showers around us, well, things get a little bit scarier as far as the fire danger around us. So we see elevated fire danger, especially going into Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, the possibility of a red flag warning still stands in place, but right now, no watches or warnings to start off our 5 o'clock hour. Satellite radar is showing those scattered showers as they continue to make their way across about the northern third of Washington, especially that northeast corner and into portions of North Idaho, including Spokane right now. We're seeing some of those bands of showers just pass through. But over the next 12 hours, we're going to see temperatures jump up to about 75, 76 degrees. I wouldn't say we'll make our way all the way to 78 or 79, just because yesterday we rested pretty shy of our goal, just because of those clouds that were all around us. But what we're really talking about, of course, as we mentioned, is this wind. So this is this afternoon, pretty widespread gusts in about the 15 to 20 mile per hour range, but watch how these colors change going into your Wednesday afternoon. Here's Wednesday just around 5:36 p.m. Widespread gusts in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range. That's where things really change, and it's also where we see the possibility of those skies really clearing up. So compared to right now with those generally showery conditions, we'll start to see those showers clear up, the sun come out, that humidity drop down to a dangerous level, and wind. So the combination of all of these ingredients doesn't bode well for our fire danger out there. We'll have more details coming up on where to expect these showers this afternoon and how we see things clearing out as we go forward. Jen.
Evan, thank you. Coming up on 5:03 now, Washington State's largest health insurance provider, Premera Blue Cross, was just hit with a $10 million fine. This is the result of a massive data breach. KREM 2's Casey Decker looked into where all that money will go.
In 2014, one of the largest breaches of medical data in history. For nearly a year, hackers had access to millions of Premera Blue Cross customers' data. That included social security numbers, bank account info, and critically, medical records. Premera insists there's no evidence that data was ever used. Nonetheless, Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson launched an investigation. He found that not only were Premera's security measures not up to par, but that, quote, Premera repeatedly ignored both its own employees and cybersecurity experts who warned millions of consumers' sensitive health information was at risk. 29 other affected states joined that investigation. The result, this consent decree, including a $10 million penalty. Here's the amount Washington will get paid, more than $5.4 million. Washington gets the bulk of the fine because its customers were most affected. Premera Blue Cross is based outside Seattle. So where does that money go? Back to the Attorney General's office. Some of it to cover the cost of the investigation. The rest will go towards pursuing similar investigations and enforcement of data privacy laws. But the real purpose of the consent decree wasn't the financial penalty. It was imposing new security requirements on Premera. Those include making it harder to access Premera's system, keeping closer tabs on where medical records are stored, and hiring a new executive specifically for data security. Still, this has left many people wondering, what about the victims? Do they get money? The answer looks to be yes, but from another source. A class action lawsuit has reached a tentative settlement. It says Premera will provide a $32 million fund for customers whose data was stolen. That money will go towards providing credit monitoring and reimbursing customers who might have lost money because of the hack. The two private parties have reached an agreement there. It hasn't been approved by the court. If it does get approved, then affected customers should be able to seek out those funds shortly afterwards. In the studio, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Casey, thank you. Here are the top stories that you need to know before you start your day. In Grant County, fire crews are still working to contain the power line fire near Mattawa. The fire department released this video inside the fire line. As of yesterday, the fire had grown to 7,800 acres and was 50% contained. Level 1 and 2 evacuations are still in place in areas near the fire. Crews say a line stopped the fire's progression there near the containment line. State resources are now assisting local crews. Well, doctors confirmed a new case of measles in the Seattle area. This is the 10th person to be diagnosed with the measles in that area since the beginning of May. Health officials say the woman impacted visited Seattle Children's Hospital several times when she may have been contagious. The reoccurring cases in King County suggest that area faces an ongoing risk of outbreaks among people who do not have immunity. The CEO of Juul is apologizing this morning to parents who have kids that vape. Kevin Burns released the unusual apology during an interview for a documentary. He was asked what he would say to the parent of a child hooked on vaping. He replied, "Tell them I'm sorry their child was using the product and say it was not intended for them." Critics say the company targets minors. They say advertising shows off sweet and fruity flavors, and the company uses young-looking models. More than 1 in 5 high school students admit to using electronic cigarettes within the last month. That is more than 77% since 2017. Well, today is a historic anniversary. 50 years ago today, Apollo 11 launched on a historic mission to put the first humans on the moon. The crew blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida in 1969. 4 days later, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin successfully landed on the moon. The world watched from the Earth as the Americans became the first to put the flag on the moon.
Neil Armstrong.
If you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time.
Well, that is President Trump doubling down on a series of tweets. He sent them Sunday, telling a group of Democratic congresswomen to go back where they came from. 3 of the 4 members were born in America. The 4th came to the U.S. when she was 10 years old. Now, House Democrats plan to vote on a resolution today condemning those comments.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden.
He does not know how to defend his policies. So what he does is attack us personally.
Democrats are asking Republicans to stand up to the president. Some Republicans are accusing the Democrats of playing politics and trying to force a vote on a measure to condemn the president's statements. 5:08 now. Let's check in with Evan for one thing you need to know.
Yeah, Jen, it looks like we're already seeing some showers begin this morning, but what we're really going to see in the afternoon, just around about your lunch break and headed back for your evening commute, sky's looking a lot like this. You can see this is a live look out toward downtown Spokane. Some of the rain showers already coming down. They'll probably taper off over the next several hours, and then a good possibility between about 1 and 6 p.m. of a return of those showers. Coming up, we'll take a look at what we see as far as those temperatures go over the next 20 hours and what you can expect as far as where those showers are going to be centered.
Evan, thank you. It is coming up on 5:09 now. First, there was the meatless Whopper. Now Impossible Foods is taking to the sea to create a fishless fish. And it may sound fishy, pun intended, but the company is trying to produce a fish grown from plant cells. The company intends to use the same protein in its meatless burger. They just want to create a fish-like flavor. Impossible Foods plans to create a full line of replacement food for all animals-based products by 2035. And if you're eating an apple this morning, chances are it was picked off the tree 5 months to 1 year before now. That is according to BusinessInsider.com. In the U.S., apples are harvested from August to November. Any apples that do not sell by December go into refrigeration. They are kept at a lower temperature. The oxygen level is also lowered. Fruit growers say when apples are stored that way, they will taste the same as when it was picked. Well, have you finished watching the latest season of Netflix's Stranger Things yet? Don't worry, there's no spoilers here. However, CableTV.com found some interesting facts about how much the main cast was paid for the series. In the first 2 seasons of the show, main cast members were paid $30,000 an episode. For season 3, the cast negotiated a salary bump of up to $220,000 per episode. At 8 episodes a year, the main cast members are currently earning between $1.2 million and $2.28 million. That is quite the payday. All right, 5:10 now. If you have an online dating profile, your smiling mug may end up in a facial recognition database. Coming up in the next 8 minutes, we are connecting the dots. And Spokane is celebrating a local national winning team today. Coming up at 6:30, we hear from the champions themselves moments after they arrived home last night. And we here at KREM 2, we are releasing a new app with you in mind. You can customize your local forecast, follow your favorite topics, and prioritize the news that matters most to you. Coming up, look for it in your app store later today.